Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Oh, he popped. There he is. There we go. I am so happy to be back. I tell you what, mentally, I've been so good after there's been a couple breaks, but this one, it just feel I have my own space. Jeff, first I'm going to introduce. I've got a wonderful guy. I've been making friends on TikTok, like I've been telling you guys. And I'm so glad he's here. Welcome, Jeff from Jeff Bookshelf. How you doing today, brother?
Rough sports weekend for me, it feels like, but being from Ohio, Northeast Ohio has been rough, but I've had a rough couple days. But
we got by Cleveland.
I live in Youngstown, but I'm from Cleveland. So,
dude, my football teacher, football coach, the quarterback coach was from Youngstown. He played for Youngstown State, set a bunch of records. Zach Williams.
I'm from Cleveland, so I know like everything Cleveland. And then moved out to Youngstown a while ago, and
it's a nice place.
It's like a whole new. It's a different world compared to Cleveland. It's like a big little city at the same time compared to Youngstown. Like Youngstown feels so much smaller to me, but it's getting there one day at a time.
Cleveland's its own beast, man. Like I've had a lot of surgeries up at Cleveland Clinic, and man, I like the hospital. The people there are fun, but I couldn't do it, man. I live in Appalachia, Ohio, and it's like
that's funny.
It's the sticks, bro.
So what's funny is originally I'm from Cleveland, right? Then we grew up like right on the Ohio River, right across from Point Pleasant, West Virginia. So like I feel it, like I'm the same kind of deal. So I'm like a mixture of everything. I'm like from the city and a hillbilly all at the same time. It's a weird combination,
I love it. It's like I can listen to country, rap, rock, and I just get along with all that.
Yeah, my Spotify and like Apple Music is.
It's like, dude, weird. This guy's confusing me.
Yeah, like it doesn't know what to do. It'll go from.
Well, hey, man, tell us a little about yourself. I know you was talking about. Oh, I'm so sorry. So, by the way, Jeff, sometimes there's a lag and we interrupt each other, bro. I know that neither of us, we're both gentlemen. It's never on purpose.
All good.
So tell us, you said you're from Youngstown. Anything else you want to tell us about yourself?
I mean, really, the main reason we came here is for books. Like we found each other through books. And that's kind of what we're here to talk about.
Right.
Dad and a husband,
Oh, there it is, man. I love that.
Normal blue collar dude, just listening and reading books as much as I can get in a year,
That's what I knew you was. I wasn't going to say it, but I love that. I love having a family man on because I would like to think I'm the same way. I've got 4 kids and a wife, and I like to talk about it. I think not a lot of people or enough people talk about it. So I respect it, man.
Yeah. I'm a house under siege. I got a wife and 2 daughters, so it's just me and a bunch of estrogen.
Yeah, you're outnumbered for sure. Just give up.
Oh God, it's the worst. Sometimes
we had 3 boys. We had 3 boys first, and then we got our girl. She's 1, and it's just the best age. I don't know. By the way, Jeff, I don't know if you can see it, but on the right side of your screen, the comments. You see the comments coming in?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. A lot of people go through a whole interview and they're like, I had no idea there were comments. So that's the funnest part about this. We got Timothy Wolf, another wonderful. He's a wonderful self-pub author. Shane, what's going on, dude? Shane, man, I love seeing you in here. Grimfell, if you love metal, bro, check his YouTube out. This guy's going places. It's amazing. I don't know why he keeps doing that.
I see talking with Mike and Bloodfire Jeff on here. That's kind of how I seen you, is through him. Because he's been giving me a lot of like advice and help, and she's cool ass dude, man.
Which one? Well, they're both cool, but who are you talking about?
Bloodfire Jeff. Like I kind of follow Mike and get a lot of his I steal a lot of his like top 10 lists and start like listening and reading everything he's reading, and so far he hasn't let me down. So. Yeah,
dude. Mike's book reviews, right?
Yeah, he's good as hell. I
binging.
Their taste, it's crazy.
So dude, he's absolutely one of the reasons I'm here. He knows that, and I've had him on a couple times, and you're right. It was like Christopher Rocchio. He didn't let me down. Ryan Cahill, so many others, but
oh yeah, I love those books. Those Bounded and the Broken.
Yeah, dude.
My wife got them for me. I think it was for like like Valentine's Day or something like that. She got me like all of them at one time. Oh, they're great. I love every minute of it.
In the words of Ryan Cahill, because I got the paperback first, but I got the hardcovers to collect, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, those are silky smooth."
Yeah, I have the paperbacks. I haven't got, because didn't like Broken Binding do a set for him or something like that?
You know, I think they were he did a special edition of the but I wasn't around for the book one. What was it? A Blood and Fire.
Yeah.
Gosh,
we
I really
covered-
wish I had that one, but yeah. So I think they were doing the paperback sign. I don't know if they still do or not. But yeah, he's really good, man. I really enjoy his. But it's the classic fantasy tropes with like that modern. There's some fucks in there.
It's
Yeah.
like when I tell people about it, like, and this is like not a knock to him at all, because I don't know if he likes it or not, but like it feels like an adult like Aragon, or like an adult like, it feels like a grown up version of that. Which, because I love that, like the Inheritance Cycle, I loved them, and I still like them. That, like, people give them shit, but I still love them, and it feels like the Bound and the Broken is like adult that, you know.
By the way, I don't know why it keeps happening, but every now and then it'll flip off the screen. But you come back every time, so that's good.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
yeah, exactly, it's perfect. So man, I like your bookshelf, by the way, dude. You got the Jim Butcher, you've got some Brandon Sanderson, you've got all John Gwynn. Look at that, dude. Joe Abercrombie.
Yeah, I got some more over this way. That's like,
I believe you.
I got some Stephen King, and I got like some miscellaneous. I got all of Jim Butcher up top, Red Rising. My wife has the adult section on that side. You know,
the old spice cabinet.
Yeah, it wraps all the way around. But like, we're still filling it up, and I got like a whole Harry Potter thing behind me. That's
how long have you had
that? This section,
yeah, like your own little space.
Believe it or not, like it's almost like a drug addiction. Like, it's because it started off with like one tiny ass shelf, and then next thing I know, she's like, we should get more. And then now it's like,
I don't know what that
like is. Nothing but books.
I agree. It's once you start, you can't stop.
I would say like under a year and a half. Like, we still got a lot of room, but like I like more hardback covers and shit. So I try to get more like collectible stuff, except for like the overseas guys, like John Gwynn and them guys. Those are harder to get. Like in Ohio, I can't hardly get anything hardcover. Yeah. But I did buy like Jay Kristoff. I bought his. I'll show you real quick.
Yeah, dude, grab it up, man.
I bought his like limited.
Oh.
Autograph. Let me go this way. Autographed. It's sprayed edge.
Sick.
And it's the European cover, which I like way better.
Man, me too.
And the American cover feels like a girl book, you know.
It does. They don't represent it well.
It doesn't. It feels like it's gonna be like all spicy and like you know, Twilight or some shit, but it's pretty dark.
So tell us, I'm always interested in like the foundation story, because I did find books, dude, until I was 29. I'm 34 this year, next month. So I haven't been reading very long. When did you find your passion for literature, dude?
Well, honestly, it's kind of like a hit or miss. So like when I was younger, there was a lot of it. So like my sister would like read to me a lot when I was like a kid. Like she would read me like Harry Potter and shit. My mom read a lot of she read a lot of like scary books. I went blank on the author's name. I'm trying to make sure I was gonna remember it. She'll kill me because I forgot it. But like that, like thriller shit, you know, not Stephen King, but she'll bitch me about it.
Was
later.
it a man or a woman?
It was a dude, and she's gonna kill me because I forgot it, but it's down there somewhere.
There's so many of them. I couldn't even.
Oh, dude, it's so much. And even my dad, because my dad drove over the road, so like we'd go out in the woods, like walking around and stuff, and he would tell me about the books he read. But then, when I moved to Youngstown, I was still working in Cleveland, so I would drive from Youngstown to Cleveland every day for work. So it was like an hour commute. So then I was like, got tired of like hearing music and doing like podcasts every day. So I was like, let me just listen to the Harry Potter books. So I burnt through all those again. Then I was like, what should I do? Like, what should I do next? So then I went on YouTube. It was like top 10 fantasy series of all time. And then believe it or not, I cut my teeth, like getting back into it with the first Law trilogy. And I was like,
oh yeah.
It was like a whole new world, you know? And
yeah,
that's when
the laughs I got from Blade itself was just incredible.
Yeah, like Logan might be like one of my all-time favorite characters, just because how like gritty and like the little like zingers they give to each other and shit. Like calling him. She was like, "Your skin's pink, ain't it?" And he was like, "Damn it!" Like,
Right?
just little shit
There's so
like
many of
that.
those witty little banter moments that kill me, dude.
Those are my favorite. Like, I feel like every good book needs to have that. Oh, she already said it. There you go.
Mama's here, dude. You're in trouble.
Yeah, I knew it was coming.
It's
John
funny.
Salters.
I went and got my mom from. She lives in Florida, and we went and got her from the Columbus airport today. So speaking of moms, right?
She already messaged.
That's so cool. Glenn, thank you for being here. I'm so glad. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny.
So did we get to when you started your love for literature? When did you find that? Were you young?
Yeah, like yes and no. Like, so I was like young, but like I stopped reading. Like I started playing sports and like doing shit like that. But I was in my like later 20s. And then, like I said, I was driving every day. So I was like started like doing a lot of audiobooks because I had an hour-long drive every day, like one way and then back another hour. So I had 2 hours to kill. So I was like, I'll start doing audiobooks, a lot of audiobooks. And then that's where it snowballed from there. And then next thing I know, I have a living room full of books.
I love that, dude. The reason I asked you how long you'd had it, because for the longest time I did these with a green screen behind me. It just doesn't suit well. It's okay. If like,
yeah,
I respect it, and I had to do it for a while until I had my own spot, but I feel so much better having my own spot. Like nobody can hear me right now. Like the kids are in bed. Like they don't like my wife doesn't have to keep the kids quiet. Like we built a little 12 by 20 out here in the yard, and it's just nice, man. So I was just kind of relating through that little space to have that's your own, man.
Yeah, for me, this is our living room. So I always just do shit in our living room just because of the setup. Like you said, the books behind you always just looks way better.
I have a question for you. ML, I'm so happy you're here. Oh my gosh. She knows how much I love her and her work. But have you read Dragon Mage?
I don't believe it. No, I haven't.
Let me grab it. Hold on. We're gonna grab it. I know where it's at. Well, it's right. There it is. So, dude, this book blew me away. Dude, look at the cover first of all.
It's got that like old school, like dope ass fantasy. Like
I've never empathized with a character more than Aram, main character in this. It's a huge recommendation from me. I wonder why I keeps doing that. Bop. So yeah, I would absolutely pick that bad boy. And the hardcover is 100% go with that.
Yeah, I'm a hardback junkie. I prefer hardbacks, you know.
It's like while you're reading it, you take the page and like carefully turn it.
Well, because like for me, it's all like a trophy shelf, so I put like everything on here, like, and just like let it be, you know. And I like it. I just dig it. Like me and my wife always are buying each other books all the time, so that's the kind of cool thing is we kind of like rock it together, you know. We're always like, but now I'm trying to get her to read more of my books, so I ended up reading Fourth Wing, trying to like bribe her into it, and I got her to start on Jim Butcher.
Ooh.
Like, I just bought it. Like, here, you got to do it.
What do you love about Jim Butcher?
Well, once I started doing the Dresden Files, I got like addicted to it.
Yeah.
So I read like every one of them damn near like back to back, like just right through. So like luckily for me, there's like 15.
Dude, there's a bunch.
Dresden Files. So I like ripped through all of them. For me, it's kind of like because you're with that character for so long. So when you're with a dude for 15 books, it's literally like 15 years or like 9 years of this guy's life. So it's a lot of shit, but it's kind of all the same stuff we talked about. Like there's real depth in it because like, I'm trying not to give too much away. Cause I mean, I don't want people to like not read it because I give shit away.
That's what's up.
The depth, there's like funny parts in it. There's like a lot of nods to pop culture, like, because it's not like, it's in like a today's world kind of deal, you know, like it's like an underworld that you don't really know is like going on.
Because he's a wizard.
Yeah, he's a modern day wizard, and people are like, this dude's he's a wizard. It's like people will come to his office and it says wizard on his door, and they're like, are you really a wizard? He's like,
right.
It's in the phone book, you know, like
yeah, man.
So it's like a normal thing that it's just like they're out there, but no one wants to believe it kind of deal. And I kind of like so just being in Chicago, just chilling is kind of funny to me. Like there's just a wizard running around.
And I'll tell you the book that got me into fantasy, and I hope everybody picks it up because it's just and it the audio book is number two. Number one was Hobbit by Andy Serkis. Like
I
nobody
love The
beats him.
Hobbit.
Yeah, dude. Number two, Ordinary Monsters by I can't remember his name. I should, but it's my favorite book of. I don't know if it's my favorite book of all time. It was most impactful. Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro. It got me into fantasy, dude. It's like a Victorian London feel with a like. When I say this, dude, it doesn't. You're gonna think of Harry Potter. I know you are like dark academia, but it's instead of like magical powers, because I guess they are somewhat magical powers. He just does it in a way that is the most fresh version of a dark academia I've ever read.
I like that trope that like
Yeah,
going to school, like growing up, like while you're there, because it's so relatable because it happened to everybody. Like everybody went to school and was like,
yeah.
man, I'm an asshole in school. And then like you grow up as it goes and you just figure, I like it. Like every school has had that. I've always kind of almost liked all of them.
I agree. And I guess instead of them learning something, they get there at like they're pretty much kidnapped and like kind of forced, and not really, but kind of. I don't know. You kind of have to read it, and they have to endure the school for a very short time, and then the plot progresses. But that sticks with you, the characters, and they're young, and much like Dragon Mage that M.L. Spencer wrote, you relate to the young characters so much, man. And it's just incredible, right? To read the written word and to feel those emotions. I think that's a real talent.
That's my favorite thing is like when you get a book that and you can relate to a character so much that you're on like the cusp of crying, like you got like a little bit of like misty eyed in there. Especially like when you become like a dad and there's like dad stuff in a book, it hits you a little different. Like
Yeah.
when a character becomes a dad and he's like looking down like shit, I'm a dad now. Like
Yes,
it's always like because it's so relatable. Like I can feel it. I'm like, I've been there.
yeah, there's nothing can prepare you for it. So it's like when you read that and it makes sense to you, you've been through it.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to relate to a character having been through that same situation. I totally agree. It doesn't hit like it would have if I wasn't a dad.
Yeah, I wouldn't even think about it. I just keep pushing, like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
He's dead now. And you're like, now I'm like, oh shit, he's a dad. Like,
Yeah, like I
he's-
can imagine
he's
being
going-
in that
he's going through
situation. So, well, my next question is, what are some authors that inspire you? But we've gotten pretty good ones from you. Did you leave any out? Is there any other ones?
Yeah, I actually talked to him about him a little bit. Is like Dave Farland.
Ooh,
I talked about him on my TikTok a while ago because I feel like he's criminally under him a lot, and I don't know why it bothers me, but it does.
well, yeah.
His book series was so great, and it had such a cool like one of the coolest magic systems I've ever read. And to give you like a little bit, they're called Rune Lords. So you can endow, like I could give you my strength, and like I'm weak now, like I just have to lay in a bed.
Oh,
Have like double the strength.
Dave Farland?
Yeah, it was Brandon Sanderson's teacher in school. Like when Brandon Sanderson was in college, this was his teacher.
Wow.
And Brandon Sanderson talks about him being a mentor. Yeah, Rune Lords, it's awesome.
Josh is a gangster.
One of my top, it's a top 10 series for me. That's just no one talks about.
I remember seeing that on your TikTok now, and I wasn't familiar with Rune Lords, so I didn't spend a lot of time on it. But now that I've gotten kind of the spiel from you, I can't wait to learn more, man.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like I think there's like 8 in that series, I think. And I just loved every minute of it. I loved all of them from beginning to end. I would give them a shot.
I love that because
yeah.
man, there's so many of those every fantasy reader books who let's just and they deserve it, like Joe Abercrombie, George R. R. Martin, who I'm not a huge fan of. It's okay.
Yeah, well, everybody loves those guys. Their work is like next tier. Like everybody knows it. But then there's some authors, like you said, that are like, because he passed away in like 2022, I think. 60s. But according to Brandon Sanderson, I was reading an article about it that he, I guess, leaned more into teaching and being like a mentor to other authors than keep writing. So he, like, his books were like in New York, like in the 90s, everybody liked them. They were big.
Wow.
But I think it was more he wanted to be a mentor in writing, and that's what he leaned into a lot more than being an author. So
He
like,
left his mark though.
for me, he did.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, man. I love those underrated authors, and it's not that I wish they were underrated, but it's like I need that. I need to read some underrated stuff because not everybody's talking about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Brandon Sanderson himself, I mean, says that he was like a big inspiration, and I think used some of his like the way he built his magic system. I haven't read all of Brandon Sanderson stuff because there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
I just started on Mistborn this year. I finished the first 3 recently, so I'll be doing one here soon on those guys, on those 3. But he talked about that he like kind of used some of his like inspiration on one of his magic systems in a later book. And it's cool as hell. I'd give it a shot. I loved them.
I feel that way about James Rollins. James Rollins James Rollins started writing as James Clemens and did a bunch of fantasy books. One of the series isn't going to ever be finished, which sucks, but I own them. And then he changed his pseudonym to James Rollins. He writes a lot of like techno thrillers, really good books. You can barn through them. They're awesome, great characters, awesome plots, kind of quick and action, packed.
Yeah.
Same characters basically. Some of them changed. I know that Tim's a huge fan. Me and him get along as well, period, but especially about James Rollins. But he finally did, and he's in the middle of it now. Well, he's at the end of it now. A fantasy as James Rollins, and it's the Moonfall Saga, and it's about a girl that she's blind, and just I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's a new planet. It's called Earth, though, URTH. So I kind of like that, actually. It's easy to think about. I don't know. I bet that took a little while for him to decide too. Like, should I call it this? But I'm glad that he did. But it's about animal companions in a specific way that is fresh. An epic voyage they're on. Lots of characters, man. I that's what I would recommend is the Moonfall Saga by James Rollins.
Yeah, you keep this up, man. You're gonna keep making this list so long. I'll never get through.
That's the one thing that's inevitable about doing one of these book things, dude. Is like the TBR you'll die. I'll die with 1,000 books on my friggin' TBR, dude. But that's all beautiful.
For me, I'm trying to think of like, because there's some books that are just like when they come out, they're skipping above everything else. Like Fury of the Gods. I'm starting next week. I'm stoked.
What is it you're starting?
Fury of the Gods by John Gwynn.
Oh yeah, dude.
Starting it next week. He hasn't named it yet, but for the Empire to Vampire, Jay Kristoff has the 3rd one coming out. As soon as it comes out, jumping on it. As soon as it comes out, I'm jumping on it.
I haven't read Empire of the Damned. Is it good?
Well, Empire of the Damned is book 2,
right.
In Empire of the Vampire.
Is it good? Like, I've read the first one.
I loved it. I loved both of them.
Yeah, the first one's excellent.
I loved both of them. So I'll be, as soon as that one comes out, I'll be jumping on that too.
And he's one of the men in fantasy that can pull spice off.
He does.
Like, it's not bad.
I'm skipping through a couple pages here. This is a little awkward.
Yeah, no, exactly. But it's weird when like a 60-year-old author, because we don't really mean to think of it that way, but kind of talking in a way that's like, hold on, I was really liking this until he started talking about some weird adjectives. Come on now.
Yeah. Did you ever read his Nevernight? Did you ever read his Nevernight? The Nevernight sagas?
No.
They're really good too. It's kind of that similar thing we was talking about earlier about like there's like the school setting, but it's a girl that her whole family gets killed, and she ends up going to like an assassin school to try to like get revenge on everybody over it. But she has like there's like powers involved, and it's not like really a spoiler, but she can control, like she kind of figures out ways to do things with like shadows and like control people's shadows and can like bounce around. So it's pretty sweet. They're dope. I like them a lot too.
That's cool. Leanne says something that I've been thinking too at Walmart. Like, I've picked this book up like 18 times, dude. Like, every time I pick it up, I want it. But the Immortal Dark, I believe they're like African-American vampires. So there's like that twist on it. And the hardback is just beautiful. So I don't remember who wrote it, but Yeah, Immortal Dark looks excellent, Leon.
I like the vampire thing if it's done right, because it can
Yeah.
be horrible. Like Salem's Lot did it really well. Like I like those that kind. I like my vampires to be like evil. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want them to be cool, like wanting to date a teenage kid. I want them to be
Yeah.
mean.
Now, did you read Bram Stoker's Dracula?
I did, yeah.
Dude, it's nothing like I expected.
It was for how old that book is.
Yeah.
It held up the age of time. Like it's fucking sweet. Like
Yeah.
I bought a copy from BAM and didn't know it at the time that it like glows in the dark. So like one day I had it like on the very top of my shelf, like it's just charging all day, and I turn the lights off till I go to bed. I'm like, holy shit! Like it just
That's
beaming
cool.
like Dracula. It's like freaked me out for half a second. I was like, damn.
Yeah, John. I just seen John post up in there. I just moved his book, dude. I'll find it. Maybe I'll find it eventually, maybe later, because I'll spend probably forever trying to find it. But John is another wonderful author, self-pub author, and he loves orcs unequivocally, dude. That is his. I think if he could turn into anything, he'd be an orc for sure.
I actually read a book. Some
You
books.
wrote?
No, I read a book. It was
Oh,
called
I thought you said you wrote.
Dwarves, and that's all they did all day long was just fight orcs. It was like dwarves and orcs are like always butting heads. I like it. I like when you have those like orky, like even if they're not orky, like you understand it's kind of like it's kind of orky, you know? Like I dig it. Like for me personally, like
Yeah,
easy bad guy, but it always works. It always fits.
the only Dracula. Yeah, I like that. I agree. After reading it, like I understand that. I do. I'll tell you a self-pub author that if you like the orc feel, it's kind of like a D&D, fast-paced, so much fun, is Jeffrey Spite.
Solid name.
Yeah, dude, he's got all three up now. I only have the first two, but Jeffrey Spate is he is a D&D all the way through. It's just you'll get through the book so fast, and you're just like, wow, that was fun, dude. And I had never had a book like that. This was really early in my reading experience, and I was glad for it.
That's how I felt. Like now that you're talking about like D&D, when I read Kings of the Wild, it felt. Have you ever read that one?
It's one of the only books I DNF'd.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I know people are like, what the hell, man?
I loved it. I don't know. It was like the music references and how funny it was to me made me crack up. Like I digged it. I liked it a lot.
See, maybe I need to pick it back up and get further because I didn't get to the music references. It was like they started the journey for his daughter type thing. And I kind of stopped it there. I don't know why. Maybe I didn't even DNF it. Like maybe I'm just assuming I did and I just put it down. Maybe because there's times like that where I'll just sit a book down and it's like I'll leave it in a spot for me to remember. Maybe I just didn't remember it.
I like. Yeah, I always think of a good book. If I laugh out loud at a book, to me, like it's done. Like you're doing your job. Like
Yeah,
it made me chuckle. You know, like
that's hard to do.
We talked about it a little bit. Lonesome Dove is that way for me. Like Gus
My
is
wife loved it.
One of the funniest characters I've ever read, and I've never read a character that everything he says is funny. Like it's weird how he did it, but like everything he was saying was just sarcastic as hell, and it worked. Like it fit him to a T. And like even when he was dying, he was like, "Yep."
My wife read that as her second book ever.
She said
she wasn't a reader either. Yeah, she said in that part. She didn't finish the last 30 pages because of how good. She just didn't want it to finish. You know, she just loved it that much. And it's like what, an 800, 900 page book? Like
it's thick. Yeah. I have it floating around here somewhere. It's thick.
I saw your version of it, man. That's a nice version. I like that.
Yeah, like I said, I try to get every hardcover I can get my hands on because I like to like just show them off.
Of course.
So that's for how it is for me. We still have so much room. Like there's a lot of space I have for books. So a lot of them are facing outward still because, like I said, we started off with like just like a small like 3-shelf bookshelf, and now it's wrapping around our whole like we're talking about moving kids to the basement so we can fit more books in their rooms and stuff. You know.
I get it, dude. I get it. I love that. So you got any hobbies? Oh, he didn't hear me. All right, you're back. Did you have any hobbies? You other than reading, obviously.
Sports. I'm big into sports, unhealthily big into sports. Um,
We have a team.
I'm a Browns fan, unfortunately.
Okay.
Been a rough life.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, but that's loyalty.
Oh, unfortunately, like if I could leave, I would, but like I'm just too like
I
stuck
get it.
to do it. I'm a
I'm a
Buck.
Michigan fan, and I live in Ohio, dog.
Yeah, it's a rough life for you too.
My
I'm a
mom and
Buckeye.
dad are from northern Michigan.
I'm everything Ohio, to be honest with you. Except for Cincinnati, because I'm a Cleveland guy. Um, but yeah, like the Cavs, the Guardians, and even like some of the other college teams. Like, of course, I like the Buckeyes the most, but like I'll support like Youngstown and like Ohio,
Yeah.
Cincinnati and stuff. But for the most part, it's Ohio State.
Now, see, I'll support Ohio State as long as they're not playing Michigan. I like the Big Ten to win.
It's funny is I'm the same way. Like, not because I'm a fan of Michigan, but I want Michigan to be awesome until the end of the year because I want that game to mean something. I don't want it to be just an ass kicking one way or the other.
Yeah.
I want both teams to be undefeated every year until they play each other.
That's it.
I want the rivalry to be fun. Like, it sounds crazy. When we were winning for like, there was like 10 years in a row.
10, 12 years.
Then you guys won one. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, I wasn't like that mad because it's been so long. I'm like, cool. Now it's on year 3, and now I'm getting a little pissed. I'm getting back to being mad.
Well, it's not going to be this year, man. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to beat you guys this year. It's not been real good.
Yeah, as long as you guys aren't ranked in the top 10, they can't beat anybody in the top 5. It's fucking pissing me off.
I remember growing up, man, and being a Michigan fan in Wilmington, Ohio is where I grew up. And heavy. It's almost like Columbus, dude. Like I would wear my Michigan jersey to school and really get honestly bullied, dude, to like not even a funny kind of bully, like really mean. And it was hard to be a Michigan fan, dude. But I remember when Appalachian State beat us. They blocked the field goal, run it back for a touchdown.
Yeah.
So to have those back-to-back Big Ten championships, we won the national championship. I can let them lose for a little bit.
Yeah. See, Ohio State fans, we're so spoiled. We're like, no.
Yeah.
You got to win every year or it doesn't count.
That's the epitome of an Ohio State fan, dude. We went to Michigan, the Big House, me and my sister, for a Michigan Ohio State game back in 2010 or 11. Of course, they lost. But we were getting spit at by Ohio State fans in Michigan.
Yeah, see, like...
That's disgusting, dude.
Yeah, I would be in a fight.
Well, he didn't hit me. He was trying to be big boy around his girlfriend, so I let him get away with it.
He'd got hit.
You know what I mean? And I was with my sister, so I was like, I'm not going to show my ass too much. But if he'd hit me with that spit, it'd been a different little bit story, you know?
Yeah, I don't do well with shit like that.
No, it's like, please don't put me in this position to get arrested, you know?
That's why
don't do that to me.
People have tried to get me to go to like games in like other stadiums. I'm like, nope, I'm not the guy for that. Like someone
that's smart.
Click and I'll get mad.
Yeah. Knowing yourself is the key.
I don't do well with people trying to talk shit to me. It don't work out well. So I'm just like, no, I'm not going to do it. Not putting myself in bad situations.
I dig it, dude. I really understand that 1000%. ML. So I'm in the middle of Curse of the Mist Wraith, and normal. So let's just say that it's exactly what I need when I need it. Janie is a gangster. She is like, I made a post the other day. She's inspiring and ambitious to the point of being like contagious, and she is awesome. And I've got like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 that she sent me that I'm gonna get through, all hand signed by her. And when she sent that, I was just like, this woman is amazing, dude. And her prose is, every sentence is lyrical, so it's not something you're gonna burn through. Yes, I did know that. She does all her illustration, even if she like does a special edition for Grim Oak, like she does all that. Let me grab one. That's Curse of the Mist Wraith. And yeah, she does all of that, every single piece, dude.
See, I'm like a sucker for a good cover. Like it'll pull me in every time. Like I've been in places before looking at a book like I know you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but like I'm like, I don't know, like that's.
I think we are. I think that, so being in a lot with self-pub authors, and I think one of the things, and ML Spencer, again, you're coming up with Dragon Mage that I just showed you. this has a lot of,
Yeah,
I'm proud of my story and I'm going to represent it in the way that I think it
yeah.
should be.
Well, because that's art, you know. Like for me, like I've never liked the AI covers. Like I like
Mm.
when it's art. Like if I'm gonna buy something and put it on my shelf and have it like facing out to show people, like, look at this thing. Like I want it to be pretty. Like it may
Yeah.
sound weird, but like I want to show it off. Like I want it
Yep.
to like everyone to be like, wow, like they're conversation starters. People come in your house, like, oh, that thing's sweet. Look at that book. Like, yeah, that's what I want. Like
Feels good.
talk about books.
Yeah. And especially if it's one that you've read and it resonated with you, because then it's not just a good looking book. You kind
Yeah.
of, it's like, yeah, I have to tell you about it now.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Like you have some books like that where you just like you catch yourself all the time, like talking, like bringing it back up.
Yeah.
Like you hear about our Lord and Savior John Gwynn, you know, like you keep doing it
Yes,
all the time.
exactly, dude. I love that.
Help
Oh,
it.
I love it. Oh my. So what was the biggest adjustment that, or maybe something that you didn't see coming, kind of creating your TikTok, man? Was there something that was like, oh, I didn't know that was a part of it?
This doing,
Yeah.
because I've always watched them, you know, like I've always watched people on Booktube and stuff like that. And honestly, it was just like I had no idea. I was never gonna do this kind of stuff. Guys at work were like, dude, you're always talking about books. You should make a TikTok or something, like, because TikTok's the easiest. Like it just goes on its own. Like you
Quick.
don't it kind of just does. Like I've had some recently that I'm like
Blown up.
6,000 views. I'm like, didn't see
That's
that.
great.
You know, and then you'll have some like you'll think they're gonna do great 200 and you're like, what the hell? Like,
I get it.
it's like a hit or miss. But like the last week honestly has been, because I guess I'm still really new at this, so I'm like under 2 months of doing
What
all
you
this.
do, what you do well, and what I think that people are coming to see and liking it, because I've seen it too, is great view numbers. Like you're in front of the camera, you got your bookshelf behind you, you are talking about a book, you're not talking about fluff, you're going to the point, and I think that's what people are looking for. I think that's what people are looking for, is that straight to the point,
I
get
hope.
some, your opinion, but also leave it up to the other readers.
Yeah, that's the hard part for me, is like not giving shit away on a book.
Yeah.
Like, because you're like, man, there's this part, like in your mind, you're like thinking of all the cool shit that's happened in the book and trying to like hold back to not like ruin it for somebody else, but wanting them to read the book, you know, like
Yeah.
find a way
100%.
to tell them to read this book without ruining it is for me the hard part.
Yeah, because there's those spoiler moments where it's like, that's why I loved this book, but I can't say it.
Yeah.
100%, dude. I totally get that.
Like
What are you reading?
right now? Well, I just finished The Last Kingdom.
Hmm.
I don't know if you ever watched it on Netflix.
I have, yes. I haven't watched them all, but I do enjoy it.
The book is really good.
Who wrote the book? Who wrote the book?
Bernard Cornwell. So I just picked up the
Cornwell wrote that.
Yeah.
No shit.
I just picked up the second one because I just finished that one, but I'm gonna start Fury of the Gods next, and then go back to it because that one it has to jump above everything else. Like I'm surprised Barnes and Noble dropped it early. Like I picked it up last week and I was like, going.
Shane right here. Shane was posting like 3-4 days ago that he got it, and I'm just like, dude, what the hell? Because where I live, there's no Barnes and Noble.
I'm lucky because I have a BAM that's in our mall. So we go.
Oh yeah.
My kid just got her first job at BAM. She starts like next week. So
that's awesome.
So everybody in the house doing book stuff, you know.
Got that discount.
Right. But I'm also a big one is there's like a small bookstore that's like just owned by like a normal person called Back Shack, that's like right down the road for me. And I think that shit's cool too, going in there and like just talking to like normal people, just chilling. Like it's like having a conversation with you about books, you know. They just like books and they have their own little bookstore. And it's cool because every once in a while they'll have like local authors in there and do signings and stuff. And I always try to go and get a book from somebody in there, even if I don't plan on reading it, just to try to help push like a local person, you know. It's always for me.
That's awesome, dude. And once you like, the more experience you have, like, because you'll have authors get a hold of you to review their books, which is it's such a flattering thing. If you choose to, you know, and I highly do, you'll find that self-pub authors deliver, man. It's really cool. I don't really know where I was going with that, but if you ever do choose like to go into self pub, I think you'll be really surprised. Have you read? I know Ryan Cahill was one that you
Yeah.
talked about.
This may sound like goofy, but I think the only other one that I've ever done so far yet, I guess technically he would be considered that way, would be Christopher Paolini, because he started off as a self-published author.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, his first book he wrote, he was 16. He wrote Aragon.
Oh.
He was 16 years old. Parents actually got it going for him when he was still a teenager. But then of course it did so well that like he got picked up after, I think, for the rest of them. But the first one was a self-published book that he went to like book fairs and Ren fairs and like dressed up as like a knight and stuff to like push it for people. It's kind of cool sometimes hearing the stories about that kind of stuff. But like, dude, that shit's cool to me.
Yeah, it is. And wow, did it pay off for him? That dude sells millions, tens of millions.
He's supposed to be doing I guess he's supposed to be like working with Disney to make it a show again, because the movie was so horrible that they like everything on the movie. But I guess he's going to try to do a Disney show.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that either. Ryan Skeffington, he's a sci-fi writer, self-pub. And if you love, wait for him to get back. If you love something that's dark, sci-fi, kind of hard in points, like hard sci-fi, some, a little bit of soft, but gut-wrenching character between characters. Yeah, character work.
Like Red Rising, but more sciencey.
So I haven't finished Red Rising either. But yeah, I would say that it's in the realm, but a little darker, but good dark. Like the relationship between the main character and the dad, and it's just really good. It's been a while since I've read it now.
But
I'm coming up short, but I think that it's a wonderful one. I remember just blabbing to everybody about it, and I still want to do that.
Yeah, I love that like grim, dark, spacey shit. You know.
Yeah.
Like Ender's Game was dope for me. I loved Ender's Game a lot.
Ooh, yeah.
This
is called Lost Souls, by the way. Lost Souls. I
just finished Project Hail Mary recently.
Ooh, yeah.
Which was really, really good. I dug the hell out of that. So I'm trying to think of I haven't read a whole lot of like sci-fi stuff, but what I have read, I've liked every one of them.
Christopher Rocchio?
No, just I'm trying to think.
You want to go down a rabbit hole, start reading him.
I'm trying to think of like what would be considered sci-fi that I've read. But the ones I have read that are sticking out in my head, I've liked every one of them. So it'd be for me. Like it's just more on my list, you know.
That should be your next buy right there. That and Dragon Mage.
That's a good cover too.
So good. Yeah, dude. They came back out with this was very hard to find until they reprinted it. Hyperion. I haven't read that yet, ML. But the other half, I have to announce, made it fine. She got the kids asleep. Hello, wifey. Thank you for your here.
Yeah, mine's in there right now with our 4-year-old. She's just watching cartoons, getting ready for bed.
That's awesome, dude. It's like the support system. That support system is so important. So that's cool, man. I really respect that. Yeah,
we piggyback each other a lot, which is kind of cool. You know.
See, my wife is a big. You were talking about thrillers earlier with your mom. My wife loves Frida McFadden.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of her?
I've heard of her. I haven't read any of it.
She is a very successful self-pub, but she did sign with a. Why does it keep doing that? There it is. So she signed with a small press.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, people freak. She's in Walmart even. Like a lot in Walmart. All her books are in Walmart.
Yeah, if you're in Walmart, you're doing something right.
Yeah, dude. And my wife will beast through a 350-page book in like 2 days. She's readable.
Ain't that crazy? Like, so you get you just whip right through them. Like,
oh, dude, she started reading after me, and like I said, I didn't start that long ago, and she reads way faster than me, dude. Like, I am jealous.
I give my wife shit all the time because she'll read like books that I feel like are so much smaller. They're like 300-page books. And like you said, then I'm reading like Shogun or like Lonesome Dove, and I'm like, these are like 800-page books. Like,
yes,
like, and she'll like, I did, this many books this month, and I'm like my book's like this thick.
Yes, let's do page counts, right? Yeah. At that point, let's page count. because if you read fantasy and sci-fi, it's inevitable that that book's going to be a chunker, at least 500, which is kind of small for the modern, epic fantasy book.
Most of mine are like that. Yeah, I'm trying to, for the most part. Like I've read some westerns that are pretty small. And that's the kind of weird thing too, is I'm kind of all over the place when it comes to like books, like
she just beasted through Molly's here too. Let me throw her up here. She wrote a kind of it is a horror zombie with great characters, great plot. My wife whipped through that in like 2 days. Self-pub author. So I hope I'm kind of ringing that bell, man. It's awesome when you kind of go down the rabbit hole of getting to know self-pub authors and the big difference between, traditionally pub and self-pub and the dedication and amount of work that they put into their books, dude. It's inspiring, I guess, is to say the least.
Well, yeah, especially because it's like something that like if they're putting that much effort into it, that's like it's at least important to them.
Yeah, dude.
They believe in it, so at least they care enough to keep driving it home,
Yeah. So another TikTok guy that I gravitated towards, he just sent me his book, dude, and it's another like undead. It's called Rust Colored Rain. If you're on TikTok, bro, I feel like you've seen it. His name's Otto Schaefer. If not, he's selling like thousands of book off TikTok, dude. He's doing great.
I feel like that. Like I don't know if the name like the Rust Colored Rain sounds really, really familiar to me. Like I've probably seen it on there scrolling through something or like talking about it or something. But that book sounds really familiar.
But the wifey is about to start that one on Kindle Unlimited. She's a Kindle freak. Me, I like Kindle, but I would rather hold the book.
Yeah. Everybody's got their jam.
Oh, go ahead.
I said no, just everybody's got their own jam, everybody.
Yeah, she never expected to like ever read a Kindle, and I didn't either. Like, and then I noticed, especially self-pub authors like to send like ARCs through like a digital format. Mm-hmm. So I knew I needed one, and I like it too. You can take it places. It doesn't add 400 pounds to your shelf, right?
Yeah,
it's got its pros and cons, but I like both. But I love a hardcover.
Yeah, all the books you can fit on that thing,
Right? Yeah, lots. Have you ever been part of a buddy read?
No, I've tried to get everybody at work to read Red Rising, and like I've thought about redoing it, like because I got like 3 of them reading it at one time. But never, because usually like for me it's always been like a lone wolf thing, because most people that are like that I talk to aren't really readers or don't want to read the same shit that I'm reading. So like my wife's not going to read. Like I've been trying to get her, I've been smacking her in the head with Empire of Vampire for feels like a year and a half now. Like,
dude, I'm trying to get my wife to read it too,
and she just won't do it. I've got her to, like I said, I got her to read the Dresden Files, and I don't know how it sucked her in, but I think probably she just actually gave it a chance, and it wasn't like that big of a book.
Yeah.
So like that may have worked, but I've been wanting to do kind of one with her for a long time, but I haven't done one with anyone else yet.
I agree with, I mean, like I can relate with that, because in real life, man, I don't have any friends that do the book thing. And I feel like maybe one of them do, but they haven't said anything to me. So that's why I'm always on here doing this, man. It's so fun.
There's a guy at work. I had an extra copy of, which one was it? The Blade itself. I just gave it to him, like, here, just read this. And he was like, this shit's great. And I'm like, yeah.
So I'm glad that you said that, dude, because I'm willing to send it to anybody that wants to do it. I have an extra copy of fucking The Warded Man by the amazing Peter Brett. So yeah, if anybody is interested in that lives in the US, I'd be willing to send that to you for nothing.
That's the cool thing is we're both in Ohio, so like it's not.
Yeah, dude. So if you're interested in doing the buddy read, I believe I'm going to do it in probably just, I don't know. I have to check it out, but like within the next few months.
Yeah, I'd be down to try it. Like I said, I've never done it before, so like having that you can talk with someone like chapter for chapter.
Yeah, it's like on my Discord, you kind of just give your experience for each chapter, and it's really kind of, but the cool things at the end of the book where we could do something like this with 3 or 4 or 5 of us and all kind of talk about it.
Yeah, for me, like every once in a while, I'll get someone to read a book that I've already read, and then it's just me like looking at them the whole time, like waiting for them to get to cool spots. You know, like the next day at work, like where are you at now? Like what's going on?
Yeah.
Then you
Like,
just
I know this spot's coming up, but I can't tell you, dude. Like, I can't.
yeah, or they'll have like there's like I said, I got the guys that work reading Red Rise. You know, like so is this gonna happen? I'm like I can't tell you.
Yeah, dude. Why would you want to know?
Yeah, I don't. I'm like, and then they'll ask me a question. I'm like, if I tell you, like, you'll know that like this person didn't
Yeah,
die,
it's
this
too deep.
person lives. Like I can't tell you anything. Like everything I tell you is like a giveaway on something. Like, because this dude's in a bad spot. How are you gonna know that he gets out of that bad spot if I tell you like, oh, 5 chapters from now? Like you don't know. Like,
Yes.
it kind
I'm,
of
I'm appreciative of it because I haven't finished it yet. So I'm appreciative of that too. And people, I think too, like a lot of people have read Red Rising, but a lot of people haven't too. So, I
yeah.
think it's just depending on who each other, as an individual. But I think it's cool when they finally do get to that spot and you get to enjoy it with them. Cinnapalm. I would love to read Hyperion.
I've been wanting to get into it because everybody keeps bringing it up compared to
Yeah.
Red Rising. You know.
It's super like hard sci-fi though. That's what's
See,
kept
but
me away from it.
I'm cool with it. Like as long as it's like, because sometimes you can do that. Like I felt that same way about like Project Hail Mary.
Yeah,
For me, it was real sciency, you
it
know,
was.
but it was done well. Like if it's done
Mm.
well, you don't come off feeling stupid. Like when they're talking about
Yes.
the speed of light and breaking down the molecules, you're like, I have fucking no idea what they're talking
Dude,
about. But if it's
yes.
done right.
It was. I think Project Hail Mary is excellent, man. Andy Weir's a just intelligent guy, period. And he's found out a way to kind of like bring the commoner those types of books without overloading them with like a bunch of numbers and this and that. He just kind of walks you through it and also has a plot there that's engaging.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say that Project Hail Mary was the best book I've read this year, but it's like one of the most fun I've had
Yeah.
this year. Like it was a very fun book. Like I would recommend that to everybody.
Yeah.
Like that's how I explain it. Like some books I know, like you wouldn't dig this. Like I like this, but you're not going to want to read this. Like Project Hail Mary, I feel like everybody would like Project Hail Mary. You know,
Because you learn like what situation he's in, and it's like, how is he going to get out of this? Like, how does he find the basis for how to exit this situation?
Yeah, he just wakes up and you're like, yeah, that's a conundrum.
Bro, you're a couple levels below. Like everything's not okay if you wake up alone in space after being asleep for a long time. You're kind of like,
and you don't remember why you're there. It makes it like,
dude. And you slowly have to figure it out. Like that's hard.
You got a computer, like, what's your name? He's like,
and it's funny because he's like saying it out loud. And yeah, it's a great book, dude. Man, I have to tell you, it's been so much fun, dude. I think that these conversations they're a different kind of fun. I love talking to authors, and I do that a lot. That's probably my favorite thing is to talk to authors. But this is, I don't know, it's probably equally as fun if I think about it. I love the laid back conversation just about two people who love books, man, and kind of just shooting the shit. That's really the feel that I go for. So I just appreciate you and your family. Let me borrow you for a little bit. Talk books, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. Like I said, I didn't see it coming. You know, I'm just like posting shit and you hit me up like, hey. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. Like who saw, like I remember when I seen it, I was actually at a high school football game. I'm sitting in the stands. I'm like, oh shit, like that's kind of cool.
Yeah, dude. It's fun. All I do is simple. If I'm scrolling through and see book content that I think I'd relate with the person, get along with them, I have them on. I try to have anybody on that I feel like I'd get along with, and I love doing it.
Yeah, like especially when I like you was like in Ohio and I started like going on your page and watching your shit, and then like I'm seeing John Gwynn, you know, like that's kind of dope, and like you're talking about the same shit that I'm liking, and you know you got Mike on, and like, Jeff's dope as hell, you know, like you having all these cool people on. I'm like, oh, this dude's cool as hell. Like, yeah, I'll talk books with this dude all day long, you know. Like,
I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. I appreciate it because that's really kind of the feel I want to have is just lay back and have fun. Because look, if you're not having fun, dude, it becomes a chore, right?
Yeah, right. Like if you're sitting here just for the hell of it, like what's the point? But if you're having a good time, just that's the point of, you know.
Exactly. So hey, man, I really appreciate it. Make sure to thank your family for letting me borrow you guys that were here live.
for sure.
Love it. Thank you so much. It's so much fun. I mean, I don't know if I would do it as much as I do if you guys weren't over there chatting it up. It absolutely brings a whole nother side to this that I adore. So thank you for being here. Anybody that watches the replay, because lots of people watch the replay. I mean, I don't know about lots, but lots of to me. I'm not Daniel Green, right? But it's awesome. So if you guys watch the replay, thank you so much as well. Leave your favorite part in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, all the YouTube fun stuff. Doesn't just help me, helps Jeff too. People go over to his the only link I have for you, Jeff, is your TikTok. Is that the only one that you want me to put down there?
Because I'm so new at this shit, dude.
Okay.
For right now, like eventually I'll go down the line and start doing all this stuff, you know. But for right now, I've just been on TikTok trying to build that. Like, I don't want to put too many things in the fire at one time, you know.
Build them all slowly.
Yeah.
I love that. So you guys check down the links in the description. Go give him a follow. It's excellent stuff. If you enjoyed this conversation, you're gonna like his content. And we'll talk soon, Jeff. And you have a wonderful night, brother.
Good shit. Holla at you later, brother.
Have a good one, guys.